Hello again, everyone. Melth here. Last time on my Baldur's Gate 3 challenge run, I got Minthara and the gnomes and the tieflings out of Moonrise Tower's prisons without using any resources. So now it's time to set up for all of Act 2 by doing the story rests. Well, there's nothing to restore, no hit points lost, no spell slots spent, and therefore resting does mechanically nothing, but just advances the story. And then talk about my strategy preparations for how I'm going to do all of Act 2 in one sweep from here. And if I have time, I'll go into my builds for the Act as well. As usual, details of the challenge are in the YouTube video description, and watch out for spoilers throughout this run. Come to think of it, I should spend these limited powers, I think. So let's get, as we've been waiting for a while, Sonic Backlash for Karlach, I think. The goal is to have every member of the party have that, so whenever an enemy casts a spell, we can have them hit with 4 backlashes for massive damage, killing some spellcasters outright. Alright, so Minthara's over here, and hopefully she can now join me.
It does not compare with the comforts of home, but your camp is almost palatial.
Typical nobles just had to mention that their fancy underground mansion is better than my campsite
Allowing me to come here.
Before getting into being properly grateful.
Each memory that returns to me is.
Can I please take a bath in the nearby lake?
The things that I did in the name of the
Just covered in dirt here, apparently.
The things that were done to me. They broke my mind. Precisely.
And I really should have some idea who by this point, but because I've had this bug where I'm stuck with permanent disguise face that overrides being the Dark Urge, so I can't get the Dark Urge dialogue, so I haven't really got any clues in character about who it was who stabbed a knife through my brain yet. Some of which I should have got by now.
My deference to him is a habit that will die hard, I fear. All that live can die.
Now, of course, we already kind of know what we need to do from having read his description of his invincibility. It tells us that, you know, it's based on this thing called the Night Song. We know about this going after a relic, so it's pretty clear what we need to do. I mean, I already know, of course, out of character, but...
Thank you. I knew you were different to other true souls when we met, but I could see nothing.
Of course, in this version, you know, it is not canon that we told her where the Druid Grove was, and then clobbered the gobs at the siege, and then took her out. That was a side video.
Vengeance on those who infect.
So here we just kind of beat her unconscious in Goblin Town without conversation.
And keep your wits about you. Tomorrow, we go to war with the cult of the Absolute. General Thorm would have the world believe that his invulnerability is a gift from the Absolute. That is a lie, intended to impress those who flock to the cult's cause, and to strike fear in the minds of those who stand against the Absolute. I believe Thorm...
I'm not sure about this. Like, it is really actually a divine source anyway you slice it.
I suspect it is the very relic that Balthazar has been sent to retrieve.
So she only knows like half the story here, of course.
And claim what he seeks. Or destroy it.
And that all mostly makes sense to him. And it seems like it should be a fairly high priority, although out of character I can't do that quest too early because that forcibly ends like everything in Act 2 basically. So we need to kind of save that for last. Or at least completing it needs to be saved for last.
I would gladly join you in the fight. Leave one of your other allies here, and I shall.
It's time to replace Le Boingzel at last.
But you must make room for me first.
Did she just do 2 joining up dialogues in a row for some reason?
A paragon of wisdom.
I assume she means me, because Le Boingzel certainly isn't. Well, let's get Minthara equipped with Le Boingzel's stuff, and then I will never need to say her name again. This is not quite accurate. I have recently learned that when I started off in this run, Spore Druids were really good in Act 3 because the special piece of Spore Druid clothing you could get was able to do haste spores at will as long as the Spore Druid wore. However, they've now made that thing only be once per long rest, which makes it pretty terrible, and so my whole plan of having a high-level Spore Druid in the endgame no longer makes much sense. I don't know, I'd feel bad about respecting the character entirely into something totally different, given that I set out to have a druid, but I might do maybe a land druid or something instead. It feels fair given that they completely changed the item that I was planning to build around into something different, that I should change my druid subtype at least. We'll see. We went through the prisons and did not find him there as we expected.
My guess, Thorm will have confined him in the bowels of the tower.
So it's down in the Mind Flayer colony.
The closer we get. It's a first. Mazora set me on fiends inside and outside the Hells.
I guess devils fighting devils is pretty common. Although usually I thought they didn't actually, violence each other directly. They tended to be more scheming to have each other demoted and things like that. It was more common among devils, at least.
Thank you for sticking your neck out for me. I mean it, but I'm not going to celebrate till I'm actually free.
That makes sense, because it's pretty obvious there's still wiggle room for Mazora to get out of this. Because we didn't do a good job negotiating because we aren't allowed to.
Trust me on this. Not a one. All
Will's
that we free it.
not too quick on the uptake about this. It is, of course, Mazora herself who's the captive.
Demons on the front lines of the Blood War. And it means everything to me. I always knew what my future held, and I know I chose right.
Well, I think we are done talking to him. Let's see what people in camp here have to say about Minthara. Oh, we'll see about that. I really don't know what Minthara's possible character development is. I've tried to avoid spoiling that for myself. As I said, I've never had her in my party before. I've never seen, anyone other than Shadowheart really develop in a good direction. Lei Bungzel goes from being a loony, unthinking follower of Locketh to a loony, unthinking follower of Orpheus, but that's not really much in the way of development.
The Shadow Curse is upon us. As foul as I remember it. Perhaps even worse. But with the Oak Father's blessing, we may soon see it banished from these lands.
I don't think we know to ask about Thaniel yet in character. Maybe I forgot something where he told us that name before.
This land is
but we can now begin the question. Of course, the guy talking about Thaniel is the next step in it.
Leaf. It is a living being, in the form of a young fey boy, with the forest itself in his eyes. His name
So Thaniel ties in, I believe, to Halsin's whole origin story as a druid, is my recollection. We'll learn that later on.
But since the curse was unleashed, I have not felt his presence. He is its prisoner, I fear. And as long as he remains so, his domain will lie in darkness. But if we can find him...
I do wonder if Ketherick/Shar had to do something special to get access to Thaniel in the first place, or if he really doesn't have anything to do with it.
With the forest in his eyes, find me at once. He is? Then I must see him. Insensible or not, he knows something. I will go to see him at once.
And he really means it. He just instantly teleports there.
Always a pleasure. I want to be clear.
This sounds very silly with Astarion being in orc disguise form right now.
So if you wake up with a dagger to your throat, that's on you.
Astarion, half the people in this camp have either tried to bite or stab each other in the neck in the night. Lei Bungzel tried to kill me with a knife previously. Shadowheart did the same thing to her. You tried to bite me. It's like, pretty much a majority of people in the camp are like midnight throat slitters. I'm the only sane one here, and I'm the Dark Urge. Wait a minute. Didn't I have one more tadpole power to spend? What happened with that? I thought I... Yeah, it didn't give favorable beginnings. I don't think I unlocked anything.
A headache.
Did it spend out something for Minthara when she joined the party? I don't get that. Okay, well that's unfortunate, but hopefully I'll get enough tadpoles to make up for it. Anyway, we can now go get credit for all the various quests that we've done. Let's go ahead and do that. And get our rewards. I guess Bex and Danis, I think, are going to be on this beach over here. There we go. As I recollect, the reward is cookies. But I have only done Act 2 one time. 1.5 times. So, I don't really know everything about what you get for various quests. Let me know, of course, if I'm missing things. Or if I'm overlooking secrets or quests I can do and things like that.
You're all right.
Come here, darling.
I was so scared I'd lost you.
Me too. But we're here now. Safe.
Credit where it's due. Bex, this is the one who helped me and the others escape.
Don't mind that it look completely different. It happens.
The first time you've helped us. Saved our lives, really. Why? You make it sound so easy. But I know the lengths you've gone to on our behalf. We'll never forget it. Never, ever. Here.
I guess I need some of the tieflings to survive to tell other people to listen the next time I save their lives and not go charging off into a cursed area for no reason. If they all died, the word about not doing dumb things won't spread. I guess I'll go talk to Damon too and advance that quest for Karlach. I don't think there's anything really to do for that other than just click buttons to say yes, make the upgrade. What's up here? Are there any treasures or things in boxes?
What's it? What's past this?
I guess I should get back in a disguise. This elf face doesn't count as a disguise currently, even though it is one, sort of. I don't really like the force conduit ability very much. The thing about it is that I usually avoid any situation where enemies can damage me in the first place, and so I don't really care much about reducing damage after it happens. I try to make it so enemies either are dead, or otherwise can't attack, or miss because I have too good armor class. So I don't really care about reducing damage after it would have happened, in comparison.
We were ambushed by cultists. Half of us were captured.
Old news, damn, I've already fixed that problem.
Off the anvil into the forge.
Okay, yeah, so I guess they don't really update dialogue about that kind of thing. That becomes more and more common in Act 2 and 3, really. In my experience, like, Act 1 was pretty well organized in terms of if you did question different orders, people responded appropriately, but I found that was not the case in Act 2 and Act 3 previously.
I only need one more piece of infernal iron to craft an insulating chamber that can make it possible for Karlach to
Touch people!
I need to get her back to her actual face. This seems so weird with her still in disguise that we put in for Moonrise Towers.
What's happening? It's been so long. We've got the iron. Let's do this thing!
Hang on! I think you'll want to hear the bad news too.
Yeah, sure. But first, fix me. Please.
Can I... No, she's in this conversation, so I can't undisguise her.
Fine. Well, go on then.
I don't enjoy saying this, Karlach, but there's no two ways about it. Your engine is going to blow and I can't fix it. I'm not sure anyone can. It's simply too hot to exist here in the material plane. Unless you return to Avernus.
Counterpoint.
Good.
Go to like any of the other hot planes, like the elemental plane of fire, which is hotter than Avernus.
Rather than later.
But still, you can give me something that'll let me touch again, right? Safely.
Yes, but
That's all I need to know. Do it. Please.
well, all right.
We have tons of infernal metal at this point. You get more than you ever need, even just in Act 1 pretty much. I think you can have the extras mostly just sold at some point. You get tons and tons and tons by Act 3, but there's nothing left you can do with them at that point. You can also hand him Maragon masks, which he can make into random grenades, which I find to be a terrible trade. Maragon masks are a unique and pretty interesting item. I might actually make a party that's all about them somewhat, just for fun. Essentially, if you have multiple party members put them on, take up your head slot, but they give you +1 strength apiece for each person wearing them and -1 to all the mental stats, which is usually a pretty bad trade, but it'd be fun to build around it and have a whole party of Maragon mask wearers. I do plan to do that at some point. I think Ballista has never really felt romantically interested in Karlach because she's a nice person, but she's not really smart enough for his taste. Plus, we keep being told, stinks of Avernus, which sounds like she'd probably be repulsive in character. And it looks like a giant devil monster.
There's something I need to tell you. That engine of yours, it's contained for the moment, but it's just too hot to exist here in the material plane indefinitely.
We just went over that.
I know you know that, but the thing is...
Oh, that's I don't remember hearing this. Is this new
wasn't
dialogue?
making any headway with the mechanics, none at all. The environment here is just too cold to sustain metals like the ones.
People have been complaining about the endings for Karlach for a while, so I wouldn't be surprised if they added a new one at some point. No, okay, just back to Into Avernus. There are so many super hot planes in this multiverse. Avernus is like the least sensible one to go to.
The minute I set foot back in Avernus, Zarya will force me back into service.
Not to mention other ways to just solve the problem.
Doing her bidding again. I'd rather die.
I get that, but don't rule it out. The world just might be better with you in it. Even in Avernus. I won't stop trying to figure out a cure, but at this point, I think we all have to face the inevitable.
Yeah. Apart from the doom and gloom, you've given me more than I could ever hope to repay.
It's been my pleasure. Good luck, both of you. Look after yourself, all right?
Okay, let me get these disguises off, because these are looking weird to me.
This is the best day. The best day. Me too. Whenever you want to turn in, I'd love to take this whole touch thing for a test drive. I know we have important things to do, but
I think Baldur is mostly focused on the important things to do. He also just, you know, has a parasite eating his brain, and it makes him not really feel in the mood. Alright, so the Strange Ox is dead, of course. We killed it in Act 1 to get the Shapeshifter's Boon Ring, which I think I mentioned is tremendously valuable. There is an exploit, basically, where you can bribe the Ox into giving it to you if you let it kill you or whatever, but I couldn't possibly justify it for this run we're trying to do no exploits, basically.
Glad you dealt with it before it dealt with us.
Oh, he's acknowledged that. Okay, strange.
Right. The way here was anything.
This would make more sense if we killed it in front of him or something, but anyway.
A makeshift Harper's Fire might not be where I hope to set up shop. But maybe I've got something you can use anyway. And if you find any interesting materials in need of working, I'm happy to help.
This is a stupid question.
Hesitated to mention this back in the Druid's Grove, for obvious reasons. But no one has earned my trust, if not you. When Elturel was dragged into Avernus, I was drafted into a devil's smithy.
I thought we already knew that in character. He's been talking about that several times, hasn't he?
Infernal metal is like a wild horse. Powerful, exuberant. It'll kill you if you lack technique. I can sense some. Smell it almost. Somewhere in the area.
Maybe it's like the piles of it we have in my pocket.
There in the shadows. If you find it, bring it to me.
He does make some interesting items out of it. Some of them are genuinely good.
Absolutely. Rare to get your hands on this stuff. Well done keeping it to hand.
I think he makes first like the Helldusk armor, then the gloves and the helm or something like that. The order doesn't really matter. You have so much that I tend to get them all instantly in this one conversation. Most of them I think are at best situational items that are only good for certain builds, but as I recollect, the gloves are at least okay. They're not the full quality Helldusk armor they get later on from Raphael. They're called flawed Helldusk armor, I believe. So the armor, you know, I don't get hit, so I don't care about that ability. Other than that, just kind of fairly generic full plate. So, we'll probably sell that. This helmet here, that's pretty good. I mean, plus 2 to saving throws against spells is a broad category of things, so definitely consider that. And these are the ones that I actually like. I'm always on offense, so I like offensive bonuses. So I'll definitely be keeping that and giving it to probably either Astarion or Minthara. I won't give him the Maragon masks since they're... I mean, I probably won't use them on this run, but I like them too much to give up. They're unique and cool. Okay, let us go in and turn in these quests, and then turn in for the night. I've gotten this far using no hit points, I guess other than shovel, and spending no spells whatsoever. So if I do all the story rest now, I've recovered nothing, so it's mechanically likely to never happen, which is what I'm going for.
You're all right! How?
We're two tiefling queens, remember? I couldn't leave my favorite bard without her partner in crime. I did have some help from an old friend, though.
How did you do it?
The Krista's hair that always sticks together in one clump just always seems strange to me. I know, of course, hair physics are hard in the video game.
If it was anyone else, I'd be skeptical. But you've more than earned the title.
You should have seen him. He was brave, but also terrifying. In a good way.
I never thought I'd see, well, anyone again. Thank you. 1,000 times, thank you.
And she gives you one of the best items in the game, at least for warlocks. It's the whole reason that I made sure to knock her out and save her in Act 1. Besides getting this question in general. So, piles of scrolls and fun stuff and potions and whatnot, but the important thing is this, the potent robe. So it adds your charisma damage to your cantrips, which I already have for Eldritch Blast, but now it's doubled, basically. That's really, really strong, and that makes warlocks, at least in honor mode, where extra attack is not quite as good as it is on regular mode, become very, very solid damage dealers with only 2-level dip investment by the time you get to Act 3. Because now suddenly I'll be doing like 6 or even 9 attacks in a round, all of which add double my charisma. That's pretty good damage. So let us put that thing on. It even gives +1 to armor class. Then Minthara, you're our pack mule right next. You're still kind of spec'd for strength, which is how you came pre-made. We'll sell all this shortly. There's a few more things to do before the great shopping trip to begin the act. Alright, so here are the tiefling siblings.
Did you enjoy relaxing here while I battled that...
Relaxing here? What? Is that like a dialogue that's out of order? Like it's meant to be something that only plays if he went out in the Shadow Course while we rescued them separately or something? I don't know.
I thought you were dead, you ass! Both of you! We're all safe.
He went out to try to rescue them and we saved him from like 2 shadows that died in 1 hit apiece.
I was just overwhelmed. Doesn't matter.
I'm sorry. We should have been here.
No, it's not your fault. I shouldn't have shouted. I'm sorry.
Thank you for saving me. And the 2 idiots.
I've lashed out at you, drunkenly and otherwise, and you helped anyway. You didn't deserve that. I'm sorry. And thank you. You went out of your way to help us. It's only right you get something in return. Here. I hope it helps.
More quests turned in, more XP. I guess next up is talking to Wulbren and Barkus.
Oh, I don't need anything else. Thanks.
Treat him like a waiter or something here. As I said, he's a pretty cool guy in the previous scenes, but he becomes a real jerk once he's been rescued.
Friend is a strong word, don't you think? I'm a busy man. State your business. Oh, we hail from the same village in the Underdark.
Letters that we found in the, decrepit village area of the Underdark indicate that they might have, as well as in other places, they might have been lovers at one point. It's a little vague. But, Barkus is still hung up on him and Wulbren does not care.
Surely Barkus will take care of that. I have plans in Baldur's...
So we really want to find out what his schemes were. We know he's up to something that Barkus doesn't approve of.
You should look for me.
Baldur has been hoping to find out what he's planning.
Wulbren Bongle will be mentioned among many. I've little doubt. That's Iron Hand gnome business.
You recall stories of the Iron Hand gnome.
So this is kind of something from Baldur's Gate 1 as I recollect. They tried to side with the evil ball spawn Saravok and got kicked out, sensibly.
Do not speak of a story you only know the half of.
Would you mind tilting your head a little bit more upwards, Shorty, so I'm not just looking at your eyebrows?
Perhaps, but never surpassed by the Gondians at the High House of Wonders. But our forebears were foolish, complicit with Saravok's madness over a century past. And so, we were banished. We still are to this day. The very one. It's the only mistake the Iron Hand knows.
It does make some sense after like 100 years to be mad that your group is still banished, but he's still pretty bad himself, and so are his colleagues here, by and large.
Return to Baldur's Gate will usher in a new era for the Iron Hand gnomes. The realm deserves the benefit of our genius.
Alright, let's go over and talk to Barkus in the next room, who's apparently unaware that Wolverine has arrived.
Preparing to march, I wager.
Over there we can see Raphael playing chess with Mole. It's been a very long, slow game. They've been there for, since before we sent out for Moonrise Tower, so they've been there for several days playing if we just start resting now.
What? You're... Excuse me. Wolverine? Where is he?
How about you? You alright?
Wolverine!
There we go.
I heard you might be about. How the devil did you get stuck here, Barkus?
You weren't paying attention to Wolverine.
I'm not stuck. I came to find you, of course.
Why would you do a foolish thing like that? Really, Barkus?
Now, if Wolverine doesn't know how many times Barkus screwed up on the way.
Rescuing you from...
As far as he knows, and maybe he knows Barkus too well to ever think he'd succeed at things, but as far as he knows, really, Barkus made it here into this cursed area on his own successfully.
With the aid of this helper.
The one that Barkus sent? Yeah, that's the one.
I should have guessed. Thank you very much for your help finding Wolverine.
You don't belong here, Barkus. As soon as the way is clear, pack up and head to...
Not one of the cool kids, Barkus.
Wolverine... The rune powder. We need to discuss what you're going to...
Did that guy just walk up and disappear?
Please, that isn't necessary.
Indeed. Neither of you has any clue what's at stake. And why should you? It's Iron Hand gnome business. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a great deal to do.
Well, there we have it. Wolverine is safe and sound. Thanks to you. I owe you a great deal. The brilliant retort.
So basically, as I recollect, it's kind of a double effect smoke powder bomb. It goes off twice. However, there's been a bug, as far as I'm aware, where a lot of the time all smoke powder bombs go off twice and do double the damage they're supposed to. It's pretty strange when it happens. Makes the brilliant retort a little bit less special. But I mean, smoke powder bombs in general are really, really good, so getting another one is nice.
Well, perhaps Wolverine is right. Perhaps I ought to return to Baldur's Gate. Oh, that's all right. I'm a patient fellow. I'm sure you'll clear a path for everyone soon enough.
Being treated like a snowplow here.
Premium trinkets and doodads.
Okay. So, let's get these story rests out of the way.
How about...
Is this maybe Astarion's back carving scene? Or a different one? I must assume that they really mean, whatever the equivalents of those letters are in the common tongue of Faerun.
What damn language is this? What are you doing? Well, if you must know, I've been trying to make out the scars on my back. I can't see them, so I've been trying to feel my way about. They may as well be written in Rashimi.
That's a good point, because there's a level 1 spell that let us read things that are written either in Infernal or Rashimi with equal ease. But we aren't allowed to know about that spell, apparently. Even though, every class in the game gets it.
This isn't your problem, you know.
No, but you're my problem.
Fine.
You can't read the text carved into his flesh, but you recognize the script.
Now, as I mentioned, in character, I think that Balasa is not really a Warlock who deliberately made a pact so much as he was touched by hellish powers during his accidental sojourn in Avernus, which Warlocks used to have many different power sources that were possible, and that kind of thing is plausibly one of them. I do enjoy the silly limerick one there.
What in the hells? What did he do to me?
Don't know how we know that it's a poem. Did he mention that previously or something? I don't think so.
2 centuries carrying this, and I can finally see it. No. I could have missed it, of course, but I doubt it. Cazador was only figuratively hellish. There were never any devils.
I mean, there must have been at least at one point or something, because he made a deal with the devil.
My flesh. It's a
He probably would have also needed to study more about these infernal rituals and whatnot to get it right, I would think. So.
This is... well, it's something. Given the subject matter, I probably won't.
Doesn't it usually have dialogue but one need to find out from Raphael what it is?
The untouchable Karlach.
There was a pretty funny line he can give you where he says he wants to meet up with Raphael, but he doesn't know where to find him, but we've walked by him several times.
Me in too, so probably safest to skip it.
Ah, some more lies from the Dream Visitor. As I recollect, in this scene, the Dream Visitor can try to be seductive with you if you play along, but Ballista is already kind of suspicious of this person who's clearly telling half-truths about things, even if he doesn't know about all the lies yet.
Ketheric Thorm is clearly important.
And again, of course, the person knows everything that there is more to it beyond that, but it's just holding out in us for now.
We are being bombarded by waves of telepathic energy. Wave after wave with hardly a breath between them. I almost dare not rest. Each wave a set of orders to the infected. The order for your transformation has been given many times already.
And I don't assume the Emperor is lying about this, but it doesn't make much sense in character. But then a lot of things with the Absolute's plan don't make sense in character, really.
You're on the right track. It's in Moonrise Towers.
That's a lie. Definitely knows where. It's brought to the Elder Brain several times.
I just hope my powers last long enough to see this through.
And again, they're not really your powers.
In any case, the Absolute knows you carry me with you now. It wants to retrieve me. I am the only one who can resist the Absolute's influence.
Now, he's probably truthfully thinking that the Absolute actually fears him, although it was later on find out the whole thing was part of the Absolute's plan, which to me seems... I kind of saw that coming, but...
Unfortunately, that also means it is...
But it's possible the Emperor to be legitimately mistaken about some of the stuff in character, so I won't count that as a lie in my tracking.
The task ahead is monumental. But we're all that stands between victory for the Absolute and freedom for all. This is not just about you and I anymore. It has become far bigger than us. The most loyal among the cultists receive an audience with the Absolute. To do this, they comply with Ketheric.
I really don't know why the Emperor would direct us on this unhelpful path, because the Emperor really knows where the Elder Brain is.
And you
There is kind of a path that logically should lead to it successfully in character, in the oubliette. We shouldn't need to go through the main quest here, really. A lot of things in Act 2, in my recollection, just don't actually make much sense. It's the most railroady act, as I recall. Things felt more logical in 1 and 3, by and large. Maybe I'll change my mind about this playing through again, I don't know. But that's how it certainly felt the first time I was going through.
I've been thinking about the runes Cazador carved into my back. I don't know much about Infernal, but I know anything written in Devil script is going to be bad news. I'm afraid
Sensible.
Through those runes, somehow, Cazador might still be able to dominate
Also
me.
a sensible guess.
I was thinking about someone a little more, familiar, actually.
And now we veer off from sensible into crazy.
If anyone's going to know about infernal text...
So many people can read infernal text. Going to an actual devil over is just such a bad idea. Plus it's level 1 spell again, to just read whatever you want.
Well, you know what they say.
That's what he said to be manipulative.
Unfortunately...
This is why Baldur doesn't respect Astarion. He's too dumb.
So we'll just have to look out for any...
I guess you failed your spot check. We walked right by him 3 times, Astarion. But Baldur is not going to point that out.
Meanwhile, I think I'll spend some time studying the art of infernal negotiations.
Thoughts are back on the twisted Sceleritas and his honeyed words of violence.
You called for me, my lord?
I really am, honestly, a bit confused about Sceleritas' nature, because he's not just like a figment of the Dark Urge's imagination or, you know, a reflection of the Dark Urge's personality that's only in his mind. Because other characters can speak to Sceleritas outside the Ball Temple, and also will find Sceleritas' hat as a physical object that anyone can put on and wear with like a background that clearly is establishing it to be his actual hat.
Oh, my nauseating lord, such rude.
But no one else seems to be able to see him here in camp and whatnot. They can't just, you know, yell for others to wake up. They can't just put him in a headlock and interrogate him.
For I wish to bring you another powerful tithe. But I cannot grant you this prize quite yet. You must do something divinely unspeakable first. You have been a prodigal young master, but you have not been disinherited yet. You can rule with such ease if you follow your call. You will receive a royal prize for killing this pretty girl.
We haven't actually met Isabel in character yet. We'll probably do that shortly.
Isabel, the cleric with the sweetest face of the moon.
Now, why would Ball want Isabel dead? Other than just generally wanting to kill everything? Because, of course, killing her will irreparably damage relations with Merkel's chosen Ketheric, because Ketheric's whole motive is to bring Isabel back to life. Now, perhaps Merkel could revive her again, but, you know, presumably not.
Oh, nothing at all.
So I think he might be hiding a real motive there. I mean, Ball is just insane and stupid enough to backstab his own allies for literally no benefit, but might also, because all the cult leaders of the Absolute are planning against each other, just be trying to ruin things with Ketheric here deliberately.
Oh, Master, consider the tiny mishap with the bard you had the last time we met. Your unconscious clever mind hungers for extreme violence. Who knows who you might kill next if you do not satisfy your urge. Be true to yourself, my lord.
Feels weird having fake Isabel standing there the entire time. I don't think I've seen this before, actually.
Good evening.
In my first and thus far only complete run of Act 2, I didn't do any rest and whatnot until the end. It was kind of my first prototype of a no rest run. So rather than doing the story stuff at the beginning, I just kind of did it at the end of the act and therefore I think missed some things.
Gladly. Simply follow yonder path and soon you will find him.
I think there's another similar cutscene with Gale. I guess you just go to bed rather than actually following a path and then that somehow leads you to the right place. Things are very pretty here in our camp in the Shadow-Cursed land somehow or other. I don't know where we found a nice non-Shadow-Cursed place. Because it sure doesn't look like Last Light Inn.
I love this time of night. There's an almost reverent silence that accompanies the peak of darkness, when you'd almost believe the dawn will never break. The cradle of eternity. The timelessness of lovers. That most beautiful of fantasies.
He's pretty sure this is the case, but wants to check there's not actually some kind of gap in the Shadow Curse here to investigate.
The curse is still present, of course. Just veiled and at arm's length for now. Not a trick I can repeat often, but tonight is different. This may be my last night alive.
Yeah, I guess so, because this might be our last rest.
Beauty and wonder. I thought this place might bring me peace. I thought it might make the weight of what I must do feel a little lighter. But I'm not so sure. I am trying. Believe me, I am. The path is set, and I will not stray from it, even as my heart quakes. I am terrified. I will not claim otherwise. My face could scarcely conceal it, even if my words sought to deny it.
I do think this is one of the better Gale scenes that I've seen.
From the inevitable. Better to meet it on my own terms. I can only hope that there are few innocents within the...
Sadly, not the way it works from what I've read. You have to just blow him up right in the midst of you, and somehow Mystery then completely fails to follow up and, you know, dispatch the mind flayers that get spawned all over the place, and so the world is doomed because of the gods' laziness and incompetence.
Day will come all too soon, even in this place. Yes. But there is so much to live for, and so few moments in which to house it all. Damn you. Damn you for giving me so much to care about. Our friends, our adventures. This would have been so much easier if it was just me. But it isn't. If there is a way, any way, to save all that's grown dear to me, I want to seize it. I just cannot fathom what that might be, other than to fail Mystra and condemn the world.
I guess it would just be to win, right?
Stay with me, will you? I don't want to think of it anymore, but I don't want to be alone either.
Butler does kind of feel like, as the leader of this team, he certainly has a duty to keep people in good spirits, and he does feel like, in character, you know, if Gale can blow the thing up, that might be the best solution here, rather than risking numerous other deaths in a continued battle against the Absolute.
Hey, soldier. I thought I might come visit you later, when everyone's asleep. That's perfectly fine. I just want to be with you. No expectations, no pressure. Just us. See you later. I can't wait. I think the others are asleep. Hi.
Certainly, the most private place of the camp is this one right by the fire in the middle of everything.
Like a creature. Pulse. Heat. Desire. Since I met you, all I wanted was to be close to you. We're sure I won't hurt you.
He did already hug, so that was probably fine. He'll say this, not maybe he's physically worried, but he's not really interested. He just wants to be, you know,
To tell you the
supportive.
truth, I feel like I have two modes. Off and on. You might have to show me how slow works.
I'm pretty sure I can cast that spell. He doesn't... None of these options really fit what he's going for here. Huh.
Later. I promise.
Like, this is not the topic at hand.
I just can't. I think you know what I want. But what you want is the most important thing. You're in charge, soldier. Hey, I have an idea. If you like, we can just lay together. Clothes on and everything.
Alright, this is acceptable. I have no idea what's available in these various scenes with Karlach and whatnot. It probably is freezing cold out in Shadow Curse land, so...
Come on and come here, you. I've already spent too much time without...
I wonder if this gets in the way of any possible romance with Minthara. I really have no idea. I've been trying to avoid that, but having never even had Minthara in the party, I don't know what to expect. Are you multi-classing to Bard? Join me, Karlach, it's the best class.
Oh, God, sorry. I was in my own world. Hi. Hello, good morning. Sorry I didn't wait around this morning. I was just buzzing. Didn't want to wake you. Still, you look so peaceful. I wanted to go wherever you were. But I'm me, so I did a lap of camp instead. Last night was incredible.
He's really flattered.
This morning is incredible.
This is much better than when, you know, Lae'zel talked about his odor and was so enthused about him just killing things.
You still like me, right? And nothing bad is going to happen now.
I like that that's a deception there, yeah.
In that case, bring it on. I adore you, you know. You're welcome. I guess we better get the day on. So much to do, so much to see. Together. Hey!
There we go. I think the owlbear cub is having a nightmare or something is what this scene is. Don't I have animal speaking going?
Just a bad dream.
Oh, there we go, okay.
It's all right.
So I guess he really was just saying woof 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 in dog-ease there.
Pokes me with pointy sticks.
I wonder why he would dream that, given that in this continuity he was never captured by goblins. We, you know, liberated him from his cannibal mother after destroying all the goblins. I do kind of like the relationship development with Scratch, too, over time.
To both of us. Gomwick would be happy I'm with you, I think.
Like it here. Warm fire. Scratch reminds me of Big Brother. Used to. Mother ate him.
And some people think that they're doing a bad thing, killing the owlbear mother and rescuing the cub there. You're liberating it from an abusive family. Probably would have eaten this one, too.
Thank you.
Alright, at long last, it is time for Act 2 proper. We can really get underway. And that begins with a trip back to Act 1, oddly enough. But I'll talk about that and my strategy and my builds for Act 2 next time. Thank you for watching. And a special thank you to my Patreon supporters. Master Knight DH, Jackie, Enlino, Travis, Carlo Andrea 97, Cthulhu's Mom, Oliver, Andrew Curzon, Troobsy, Skill Route, Gregory, William Wakefield, Danny Hall, Jeffrey Morse, Just, Becca, Jack, Mashas01, Jacob Marshall, Nubiana, Till Fisher, Discord Colossus, Nicholas Schmuck, Kosian Astarovich, Goman Blackrock, Dodo King 4, Marcin Bialek, Techno Waffle, Nebular, I Loop, Michael Francis, Emperor Kong 420, Robin Mackey, Micken Balls, Stygian Flamey, Micah Marie, Christopher Allen, Stefan Van Zyl, Eddie, Wendy, Ali Kasamoglu, Lucas Riverola, Skylar Sauce, Nick Myers, Bethany James, Emp Ninjas, Preben, Mango Jelly, and Chupatan. Have a great day, everyone.